Good morning, everybody. Welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. As usual, if you want to skip past the morning pleasantry, scroll down. What?
Your audio sounds tinny.
My audio sounds tinny. Oh. Probably would help if I turned the right mic on. Better?
Yes.
That's why I asked you beforehand, is the audio's on? Good morning. So scroll down, link, skip past the morning, blah, blah, blah. You know the routine. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Let me see what's going on in the chat room because there's been comments flying by. We already had a little discussion about the ad. So hey, you guys who are watching live, no one had ever told me, until Martin just did, thank you, Martin, that when I start the live show, there's an ad run, which I know, obviously, that I turned that on. But I didn't realize that it was actually cutting over part of the show once I started the show. So I've just disabled ads for the live show, which means I got to turn it back on afterwards, so got to remember to do that. But hopefully that means that this started without any ads. So Martin, you should be able to tell me that now. By now you've seen it. And let's see, Martin says, okay, people are giving me grief. They're asking, what lens do you use for the show? People are always asking this question for some reason. Let's see. Martin, did you see an ad or did it actually disable properly? Please tell me. People are wondering what's going on behind the scenes, less than a minute to go. You know what's funny? I think I did this once, and I thought it would be kind of fun to go live on Instagram as we're getting ready for the show. Because there's always a last minute bunch of blah, running around like headless chickens trying to get things set up. And it would be, but the problem is that I'm running around, Ryan's often running around, so that doesn't leave anybody to run the camera, and it's not like I can, do what I'm doing while I don't know. Is that actually interesting, or you guys just want to see what kind of madness there is every once in a while? I don't know. Maybe we'll do it a little bit. Yes, Ryan has to get his makeup on. It takes ages. You have no idea. It's terrible. Let's see here. What do we got on here? Oh, you guys are talking about this thing. Yeah, that's what lens that is. Is that what you guys are asking about? No. Is that what that is? Yes, I think. I don't know. We're going to get into that. Don't worry about it. Yeah. No average played, Martin. Good. Thank you very much. You started with no ads. Okay. Okay. So I will. It's an extra. If I forget, don't get mad at me, but I will make an effort to remember to, when I create the live event, which I always create in advance, to disable ads, and then we have to re-enable ads, which kind of sucks. But the only alternative to make sure you don't miss the opening of the show would be to run a title card for long enough for you to get past the ad, which would kind of suck because then people who aren't watching live would have to watch this long title card. So we don't want to do that. So I guess it's just, it is what it is. Hey, Sheila's got a really, really good question. I'm going to answer that as soon as I start the show, and I am going to, John, you want to come over and hold the camera? That's great. You go ahead and do that. I'm going to start with the show, and then I'll answer Sheila's question because it's an excellent question, and I have an exciting answer to it. So, this is ready. That's ready. I think this is ready. I hope that's going to work. We've got all this crap here we're working with today. We're recording. Sounds like a good show. Let's do this thing, shall we? Excellent. Good morning and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first and only live daily photo show on the YouTubes every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. If you're not watching live, tune in sometime. It's super fun to have the live people in here. You chit chat and you tell me what's going on, and we have a little back and forth, and I love it. Plus, when you're live, you can really support the show because there's a little thing called a super chat button. You click that, punch in a little, select a number, and you get to pay me, which, hey, a man's got to eat. So I appreciate all of those who have in the past and will continue to support me through the super chat. There's also that whole Patreon thing, photojoseph.com/Patreon. You can always go there. Hey, a couple of little updates. Let's see here. Yesterday I did a big Q&A show, which I then broke out because some of the questions were quite big, broke them out into separate videos. So there were 5 new videos yesterday, which is unusual, but that was because of the Q&A thing. I don't know if we'll do that. I think I'll do that whenever there's a question that is something big enough that I think this appeals to more than just the few people that are watching, the person who submitted it. And I think it's going to have a broader appeal, then I'll probably do that, because I think that can work out quite well. One thing though, so in yesterday's video, one of the questions was about 6K photo mode extracting a still frame on the desktop. So 2 updates on that. I got an email that Handbrake doesn't support the 6K. And I went, uh-oh, that's not good. So I was testing some stuff this morning, and I don't have a conclusion yet, because what I found was you can change the resolution. By default, it was set to 1080p, but you can punch in the new resolution, and I did that. But the files that it's outputting are solid black. So there's something going on there. So I'm going to have to look into that. I will put a note on the video that I uploaded yesterday saying, hold up, maybe this isn't the solution after all, and I will figure out what a best solution is and post that. So I may end up redoing that whole video. Second, a user, a viewer, whose name, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering your name. Oh, no, here we go. On Twitter reached out to me. It's Swedish, so producenternas SE. Anyway, and I will link to this in the video as well. Posted a video that they made in response to mine. It was awesome. It's like, hey, PhotoJoseph, love the show. And he showed me that there is an app that's Windows only, unfortunately, that allows you to scrub through the H.265 file and extract a still frame. And that app is called Pot. It's a weird name, Pot something. Pot. Oh, great. It's not even in the tweet. Okay, let me go back to the Twitter thing, to the YouTube. Anyway, it's Pot something, and it is, I watched his video, and I can't even get to it now, but I watched his video, and it's great. It works, but it's Windows only, and that allows you to extract a frame without even having to convert it. So for those of you interested in the whole 6K photo thing, keep an eye on that video I did yesterday. There's going to be an update to it, and yeah, there you go. Okay, and now I'm going to answer Sheila's question. So Sheila House has asked, can you please make an ebook or video tutorial series on how to use the GH5? Manuals are just a mess, and good info is hard to find. Only because you ask, Sheila. Only because you ask. So here's the thing. I am going to be doing an entire video course on the GH5. I'm going to start shooting this as soon as I get back from NAB. This is going to be a complete soup to nuts, where does that phrase come from? Anyway, all the different aspects. It's not going to go like super pro, super deep. It's going to appeal to a broad audience, but it's going to be all about configuring, setting up the GH5. This is going to be available from me directly for download, and it is also going to be on lynda.com. And that is the big announcement. So it took time, and this is why I wanted to talk about this a while ago, but it took some time, but it's been greenlit. Thank you, Jamie, very much for the super chat. Super appreciate that. It has been greenlit by Lynda, which means the contract is signed, the ink is dry, and I'm going to start producing that super quickly here. So we're going to be producing that totally in-house. I'm not going down to Carpinteria to do this one. We're doing this one here. So completely produced in-house. On lynda.com, it'll be available as part of the subscription there. So as usual, I think it's $25 a month. You can get unlimited access to it, stream it all day long. Or if you want to own it, I will be selling it. Now, I haven't decided a price yet. I got to do a little bit of market research on what the appropriate price is for a course like this. If you're purchasing it, you will, of course, be downloading it, not streaming it. So you'll have your streaming option on Lynda, or you can purchase it from me. And the even better news is that I will do a pre-sale on it, because it's going to cost some money to produce, as you might imagine. I would like to raise some money to do that. So I will do that by doing a pre-sale. So I will sell it early at a significant discount, at like 30% or 40 or maybe 50%. I don't know, we'll figure that out. But I will sell it at a significant discount in advance. So you pay up front, help raise the funds to do it, and then I'll produce the video, and of course you'll get it afterwards. And kind of like a Kickstarter-ish GoFundMe thing, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do it through this channel here because I figure that should work. Yeah. So that's the big exciting announcement. I hope that is good news to all of you. And Martin, no, the GH5 of course will not include anything about autofocus at all. Some people, God, seriously, people. All right, so that's that fun announcement. Let's see here, what else we got going on? Looking at my notes here, that's about all. Let's get this thing started. Let's get this little show started here. So today's show is a totally different thing. We're not even talking about the GH5. Go figure. It doesn't matter what camera we're talking about. I'm using the G7 for this because it happens to be a super, super lightweight little camera. But the whole point of this show is about vlogging in your car. What? Don't do this live. I think it was Sergey asked, hopefully you're not going to be broadcasting live from your car today. No. I'm going to play a video. I cut together a video that I recorded in my car about this. So I'm going to play that in a moment. But before I do, let me show you a quick tour of the pieces. Then I'll play the video, and then we'll come back and we'll look a little bit more closely. But we have a inexpensive suction mount. I honestly don't know where I got this thing. I've had it for ages. It's got a patent number. Panasonic is the brand. I don't know. It's just a cheap suction mount. This is great for mounting to the windshield. Obviously, a camera as lightweight as possible so it doesn't fall off your windshield is great. One of the keys is microphone input, which the G7 has, which is one of the things that makes the G7 such an awesome, inexpensive video DSLM type camera, because you get that external mic input on there. And what do they think? $600 right now? I think only for a few more days, actually. I think it's till the 22nd. Today's the 18th. $600 for this with a kit lens. So we'll link to that below for sure. And then you need AC power. So we've got AC power, and then you need a power inverter. So we got a power inverter. we'll come back to all that. Let's watch the video. Let me get this thing up and running here. Let me set this up. So not yet. Start this up to the top here, and yeah, let's play it.
So I wanted to set up a camera that I could talk to while I'm driving, probably without looking at it, but maybe occasional glance. But this is, I thought of this a few times before, and I thought, if I had like a GoPro up here, that'd be great, just kind of permanently mounted. I mean, I don't do that much driving in the car and wanting to vlog or whatever, but I thought, I've got this little journey coming up today. I figured I may as well do it. So I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Don't have a GoPro, but I do have lots of Lumix cameras. So what I figured out was that I could take the G7, which is probably the lightest camera that I have. It's definitely the lightest camera that I have that has a microphone input. Rig that here up in the car, and this would be perfect. So let me show you how I've done this. So here's what we've got. The G7 is mounted upside down. That's pretty obvious there. And it's on a little suction mount. And I honestly have no idea where I got that thing. I've had that for years. But little suction mount on there is holding the camera upside down. The LCD flips out so I can ensure that framing is right. The trick is, honestly, it's when looking at the camera to look at the lens and not look at the LCD. It's very easy to make that mistake. But this is why Casey wears glasses all the time, which I might be wearing while I'm driving, so it could work out pretty well. Anyways, let's go back to this. You've got the camera there hanging upside down. This camera has a microphone port, so plugged into that is, well, not a mic. Where's the mic? Hold on a second. Let's follow this cable, and there it is. So check that out. I've got the Rode Mini Micro microphone, which doesn't require any additional power, and it's got its little native red cable and then into an extension. I actually first had it just plugged into a regular cable, but I was getting a buzz, so that's had to go, and I replaced it with the extension cable, and that seems to be working quite well. Now let's talk about power. Power is not on the battery, but power is on an AC power adapter here. So follow this guy down, and voila, it is plugged into a power inverter. Okay, that's a mess on the floor, don't give me grief, and I would not obviously leave it here if I was doing this full time, but it's a good little temp setup. And then the last thing, check this out. What's that cable? Ooh, follow that one down. The remote, so that I can very easily stop recording while on the move. Now that is pretty cool. So there's the whole setup. Camera, obviously memory card, recording internally in there. It is, we got the microphone feeding up here, which should give us a better sound than just the on-camera mic. And I brought it over here so it's nice and close to me, because obviously when you're driving, road noise, all that, we want to get the mic close. Got the remote, got the power. I think we're good to go. Now, I do know for a fact that if I start the car, I'm going to lose recording because the camera's going to power cycle. So let's stop recording over there. Let's go ahead and start the car because I want to hear how this sounds with the engine running. All right, so car's going. Obviously we're not driving, but got car engine noise. Let's get this recording back going again. And there is that recording again. Now, okay, it's a bit dark. And this is kind of interesting. So I've been playing with how do I want to set up the camera? How do I set up the metering? I had it on multi-zone metering, and I had dialed in overexposure, and that has reset now that I've turned the camera off. So let me just reach over and dial that up a little bit. That'd be the wrong way. Dial that up a little bit, maybe a bit too much. I also played with spot, and I'm going to try that again because I'm going to be in a pretty consistent spot. And if I can put the spot right on my face, then the metering should be better. So that's something we're going to try as well. So that's something I'll futz around with a little bit. But this is the car with the engine on, microphones up here, and we'll see how this works out.
So there you go. Kind of fun, right? Simple little neat setup for doing vlogging in the car. I see people saying that it drifted out of sync. Part of that I think is just the delay. I don't know. I'll post this video on its own separately as well. Yes, there's some blowout in there for the funny chap talking about New Jersey proms. But yes, it's a little overexposed in the beginning, and obviously there were focus issues because, well, number one, not the fastest focusing camera in the world, and I wasn't quite sure, does it need, do I want it refocusing? And obviously manual focus for that is the way to go because it's at a consistent distance. There's no reason to put it on auto unless I'm going to be, makeup vlogging while I'm, no, don't do that. So I would put it on manual focus. The lens that I had on there, I didn't mention it in there, is this 14 mil. This is the old super thin pancake lens. 14 mil is this f2.5, so it's 28 mil equivalent. You can see the field of view in there, I think worked out quite well for that in-car vlogging type of a thing. And, you know, I would probably stop it down a little bit more, get a little bit more depth of field. Just don't have to worry about it. It's not, you know, I'm not trying to do artsy stuff in there. I just want to be able to be seen, heard, and be in focus. So that was that. So it's kind of a fun little setup. Recorded, you know, internally, of course. Jokes on there I saw going by in the chat about set up the Blackmagic switcher in the trunk. No, it was just this and my iPhone, and that was edited. That wasn't live. So it was just cut together in Final Cut. So simple little thing. But to go through the parts again, G7 with that lens. Obviously, it doesn't matter at this point what camera you're using, whether it's a Lumix or a Canon or anything. I would just say you want it to be as light as possible for the obvious reasons of it having less chance of falling off of the windshield. A good suction mount. So these things are pretty cool. This guy, again, like I said, I wish Panavise, I don't know, whatever. Just Google, good look on Amazon for a cheap suction mount. But these are neat, right? Put it down and lock it up and it's on, right? That's pretty good and solid. And it's got a spinning, whatever, you know, you can rotate it. It's got a little ball head on it and off he goes. So you can position the camera wherever you like. The AC power is a big deal. Now, you don't want to be swapping batteries out while you're driving, having to deal with that. So having the AC power, certainly helpful. This is the one I mentioned yesterday for those of you that stuck around for the after show bit where we were talking about the AC power on the GH5. This is the one that I had that I mentioned that's a third-party one. This is from a company called Go9. I don't know, it's just some cheap whatever thing. You get the AC coupler, the DC coupler. This slides into the camera. This is a battery size that is used on a lot of Lumix cameras. G7, GX8, FZ1000, that's what it even says on here. That's what I bought it for. Anyway, a variety of things. And then that plugged into a power inverter. And I have this plugged into a little splitter because I needed my cigarette lighter adapter to charge the phone. The microphone, this was an interesting setup. So the microphone that I was using is this little Rode self-powered or powered from the camera little mini mic. And the clip that's on here is not what it came with by any stretch, but this is just some, I have no idea what this is from. It's just some weird little clip that I had that just happened to fit it. And now that it's locked in there, I don't even think I can get it out. It's kind of like one of those, I worked hard to get it in and probably will never come out again. But it just happened to be this perfect little thing. I can clip it onto my visor or however it was, and off we go. And it's got a little ball head, so let's get a close-up of that. I wonder, is this camera on? Yeah, let's do this. Put that into the right position, and remote camera. There we go. So this little guy here, come on, you can focus. There we go. And yeah, it's just clipped in, but it really is holding it solid. So there's that option. And this has a tiny little cord meant to plug directly into the camera, which obviously wasn't long enough, hence the extension cord. And like I said in the video, for some reason, I don't really understand why, because this mic, actually let's go back to this. This mic conveniently has, you just unplug this, you can plug any cable into here, but it didn't, come on. Maybe I should go manual focus on this thing too. It didn't work. It was giving me a buzz, which I totally don't understand. No, this is not a GH5. I don't want to hear about it. I don't know why that didn't work, but as soon as I plugged this guy in and then just did the extension, this is just a cheap, probably Radio Shack. It is Radio Shack, the extension cable. That worked out just fine. And then the remote, which is a super important part of this thing because you do not want to be reaching up to the camera while you're driving to reach up and hit the record, but reaching down to your gear shifter area and hitting start stop on there is just fine. And in a quick glance, you can tell looking at the camera whether it's in record mode or not. That's all there is to it. What is this? No idea what this is. Oh, that's part of this is my splitter thing. It's got its own little power thing. Anyway, so there you go. That was that. So I did shoot a little vloggy, bloggy thing on my way to the real estate. That was when I did the real estate thing 2 weeks ago. I shot a vlog. I haven't edited that together, so I got to edit that together. It was time for this stuff. But it was fun. It was kind of cool the way it turned out. I just think it's a neat thing to be able to do. So if you're into that, if you're going to be doing that, you know, something to consider. Easy way to do it. So that's it. That's today's show. Just wanted to show you a fun little vloggy, in-car vloggy type of setup thing. Let's see what's going on in the chat comments here. So there's a lot going by that I was kind of following along while we were watching the video. But let's see what else came up. Brent says, I do lots of car stuff. I use magnets to hold my camera to the windshield, and I use a bendable Westcott LED light. Oh, wow, you light it in the car. Man, you're going super high-tech. That's cool. Magnets to hold the camera, though. What, if you got a link to magnet mount thing that you're using, share it. That's kind of cool. That's interesting. Magnets, wouldn't have thought of that. Then let's see here. What else we got? Achita says, go for a dimmer car film to compensate the exposure. Yeah. Okay, funny. It was overexposed. What do you want? Windshield mounts are illegal in many areas. Really? It's news to me. Oops, okay. Somebody look into that. Ryan? Thank you, Steven. I had never heard that before. How could that be, though? I mean, obviously, if it's right in front of you, that I could see, but you can mount your cell phone on, you can mount your well, I mean, you said it's illegal in some areas, so maybe in some areas you just you can't do any of that. Martin asks if there's any wiring left in the car. No, I put it all here. My car no longer runs. Sheila, thank you very much, Sheila, for your contribution. That is wonderful. You're asking what onboard mic is good for man-on-the-street style interviews. Do you mean like a handheld mic you want to hand over or an on-camera? For the on-camera, my favorite right now is that Shure VP83, I think it's it. It's the one, it was my favorite after I did that whole big mic roundup at the beginning of the year. We did a whole bunch of side-by-side tests. It's the one that I am using now. It's on my GH5. It's not right now, but that's one that's normally on the GH5. If you're talking about a handheld, you want to do a handheld wireless, then I would go for a Sennheiser. Same brand recommendation from yesterday. Sennheisers are just rock solid, and you can buy kits where you can get a Sennheiser receiver pack and a transmitter for a lav and a second handheld. You can buy that all as a kit to go together. But that is what I would go for if you're looking for a handheld thing. But again, if you want the on-camera, then that Shure VP83 is definitely the one that I would recommend. Let's see here. John is saying, shame you can't just power the camera over USB. Yeah, true. The only camera that you can do that with is that I know about from the Lumix lineup, obviously, is the GX85. And I actually don't know if you can power it or just charge it. It's a good question. I don't know. But that would work too, yeah, if you had that ability. I know. That would be a convenient thing to add to all cameras. But these power inverters aren't expensive. And this is, like I said, it's a third-party one, so it's pretty cheap. And even if you did over USB, you still have to plug it into the cigarette lighter. So yeah, obviously, you would be able to get rid of some of this stuff. But yeah, options are good. Verdant is saying the Rode VideoMic Mini doesn't work without that small cable as it has different polarities in it. Really? Interesting. This is the Rode VideoMic Mini that he's talking about. So this is a different polarity than a regular TRS plug? Really? Interesting. Well, that's good to know. Well, there you go. Don't lose that little red cable. Thank you very much for that. Let's see here. What else we got? Brent is saying rig wheels. All right, let's look this up. Rig wheels. Rigwheels.com, all right. Camera dolly systems by Rig Wheels. Oh, this is big boy stuff, right? They got all kinds of things here. Let's go and switch over to the computer. So this is Rig Wheels, cameras and dolly systems, collapsible speed rails. But we're searching for a magnetic mount. Do they have a search? No, that'd be too easy. Camera mounts right here. Cloud mount camera vibration. Let's see, probably in there somewhere. Starting at $25. We like the low price. And that's just a big old mount. Let's see here. We need like a product listing. Options, choose an option. Oh, these are all different parts. Okay. Well, let me know if that's what you're... oh, wait, look at that. Pro magnets, suction. Okay, if that's what you're talking about, man, that's huge compared to what I'm doing. But sure. Let me know if that's what you're talking about. Of course, since you're lighting your car as well, maybe that is what you're doing. Which is, I mean, if you're shooting a film, a real movie in a car, clearly you're going to be adding lighting, proper rigging, and all that. But, I'm looking for the cheap vlogging type of a format. But Brent, thank you for sharing. That is cool. I haven't seen these guys before. That's an awesome bit of toy in there. Let's see here. John says it was more about the clutter than the cost. I think I missed the first part of that. John, here we go. Shame you can't just power the camera. The USB, right. Yeah. It would be less clutter, clearly, if you could power it over USB. You are correct there. All right, let's see here. Anything else? Brent's saying, no, you just get some of their magnets. Oh, okay. So you get some of the magnets and figure out a way to loop that. So that's interesting. Now, obviously, magnets you're not going to magnetize to the windshield unless you're putting something else on the windshield first and then magnetizing to that. But anyway, anybody who's interested in this, you want to go a little bit higher end or just have other options, do check this out. Rigwheels.com. Looks like they've got all kinds of fun toys, and Brent recommends it. So that's a good thing. Let's see here. What else is going on? Looks like that's the extent of the comments that have thrown out my name on them. So I think we're going to call it there. Nice quick show today. I will work on that other vlog entry, and I will put this video, the inserted video, up separately as well, just so that it's there and all in sync and better quality and all that good stuff. So you have that too. But But that's it. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. No other comments coming up. You know the routine. Well, let's see. What is tomorrow's show? I have no idea. What is tomorrow's show? I've got a graphic for it. Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow's show is going to be cool. Here, this is what we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow, talking about the custom modes on your camera. Just kind of some overall discussion of what they're for, how to set them up, and why you might want to use them, and so on. It's one of those things that I think a lot of people just see that C1, C2 on their camera. And this is not exclusive to the Lumix by any stretch. It's just for anything. It's one of those you go, okay, I don't know what to do with that, and you just ignore it. But the custom settings can be very, very, very handy. So I'm going to talk about how I use them and give some other ideas on how you might want to use them depending on what you're doing. I think it could be kind of fun to do. And let's see here, in the vein of this whole rigging up this stuff in your car DIYs, let's throw this one up here as a house ad, the DIY Photographer, my DIY series on lynda.com. So if you haven't seen this, it's a super fun, God, I think we did 30 something, maybe 40 episodes of this, where it's all about things that you can DIY in the world of photography. And it's just some are really cheap, some are higher end, but it's a really fun, a fun little video setup. So if you haven't seen that yet, if you're a Lynda member, just type in photojoseph.com/DIY and that'll take you right to it. And of course, if you're not a Lynda subscriber, go to photojoseph.com/Lynda, Lynda, and you can get a free trial on there, which is obviously a very, very nice thing. Let's see here. Brent is saying, clarifying on the magnets, you put one magnet inside and one outside. Okay, that makes sense now. Gets it. Sean is saying, other good news, I'm going to have Sean Mark Nipper help me with the GH5 course. Am I, buddy? That's Sean pitching in his, I don't think he's volunteering for this one. We'll see. I'll let you know if I need your help, Sean. Thanks. And Vedran Art, we're going to go with that, says, are you live streaming directly from your car with this camera? No. You can do it for $70 with the setup I'm testing right now via HDMI. Excellent. Please post that setup in the comments or tell me what it is here and we'll grab it. The problem with vlogging mobile, of course, is you're relying on a cellular connection. Now, I've talked about the Video Pro before, and that it's a $1,000 device, so way more expensive than the $70 getup he's talking about. You can connect to your phone, but also if you don't need all that fancy setup, you can just go straight to YouTube Live from your phone now, which is really nice and simple. Or if you're on Facebook, you've been able to do Facebook Live from your phone for a while. Lower resolution, but it's all available. So Vedran Art, do tell me what setup you're talking about. I would love to check that out. Always looking at new interesting streaming solutions. Hey, which reminds me, any of you going to NAB, make sure you shoot me an email so I have your email, or Twitter or whatever, so I have your email address. We are going to do a meetup, a photo moment meetup. It'll be fun on Tuesday morning at NAB at 9 a.m. And Internet Gods willing, we'll actually go live at 9:30 and have a, hey, look at all of us here at NAB roundup. A buddy of mine, Chris Fenwick, who you've seen in the chats here before, is doing an event across the street at the Marriott, one of the Marriotts, there's like 3 Marriotts across the street, Courtyard, I think. He is going to do a site inspection on Sunday night and let us know if we can use the space, so we might go there. Meeting on the show floor is a bad idea. Loud and the internet's super unreliable. But if we have a good connection, we're going to do it across the street so we can all come together, have a little chit chat, get together, hey, howdy, and go live because that'll be fun. So NAB Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. If you can make that, drop me a line so I have your email and I will email out the details to everybody. Timothy is saying, shooting with the GH5 in 24 frames per second, any recommendation on record quality settings, 4K, 10-bit, 8-bit, or Cine 4K? Well, that just depends on what you're doing. Do you need 10-bit? Then go 10-bit. If you don't need it, don't do it because it takes up a lot more space. And Cine 4K that's a different aspect ratio, right? It's not the UHD, Ultra HD, which is double high definition 1080p, right? Ultra HD is double that. Cine 4K is a little bit different aspect ratio, so you're a little bit more squarish on the frame. So there's no one's better than the other. It just depends on what you need. I mean, 10-bit is better than 8-bit, but if you don't need it, don't do it. It just takes up more space. If you're not going to grade the heck out of it, don't even bother. Just expose properly and be done with it. Chris Ritchie's asking, do you have an on-the-street stabilized setup for recording? Yeah, a GH5. It's got amazing built-in stabilization. In fact, Max just released a stabilization side-by-side video showing just the GH5 with its stabilization and then putting it onto stabilizers. I haven't watched it yet. I just saw it pop up in my feed this morning, but check that out. That'll show you just how good it is. And it really is. It really is a very good in-body stabilization. Now, it's not a gimbal, obviously, but it is still very good in-body stabilization, so I would check that out. Let's see. Emax says, great course, thank you. Just quick, guys, what do you think, doing the course, I wish I could do a poll, set up a poll really quickly here. I wonder if let me see if I can do, I don't know if it's something I can do like instantly, but I want to get a quick little poll here on how many of you guys want a GH5 course. So let me see. If you're not watching this live, well, stick around because you can. Well, if you're not watching this live, then just click. The course will be up. The poll will be up there. We'll leave it up there. If you're watching this live, hang on a minute. If you don't care about the poll, you can go now. I'll be done. After this, I'm going to wrap up the show. But let's see here. Live events. I don't know if I can do this while it's active. Let's find out. Go into edit mode on this video. And let's see. Where is it? It's under cards, isn't it? Cards. Here we go. Add cards. Add poll. Whoa. Whoa. Stop. Let's mute that. Make sure we don't get that. Okay. Add a card. Add a poll. Excellent. I can do this. Poll question. Would you can spell. Would you buy a GH5 course, video course from me? There you go, question mark. Yes, no, and maybe. That sounds good. Maybe. Yes, no, and maybe. Create the card. That is, with any luck, it's now active. So if you click on the little eye up here in the corner, yeah, that corner, you should see the poll there. And yeah, it's there. Cool. God, that was kind of neat. So do that. Hit the poll. Let me know what you think. I would love to just get a real quick, informal poll of how interested you guys. I'm going to do the course anyway, but I'd be interested to see what you guys think. All right. Other questions in here. Sheila House asking, is that audio add-on for the GH5 really worth the money? Well, if you need the 96 kilohertz audio, then yes. If you need to have audio going to 2 separate channels from 2 separate sources, then yes. If you don't, then no. Pretty straightforward. It's one of those, if you need it, this is why it's an add-on. Because it's a significant expense. What was it, like $500 or something? And if you don't need it, it's a small portion of the audience that needs it. So why build it into the camera other than make it bigger? But let's just say that wasn't a problem. Why build it into the camera if it's going to add that much expense and not many people are going to need it? So it's one of those kind of things. So if you need it, you can get it. If you don't, you don't. Same thing with a dual battery. Brent says, will I be at the Panasonic announcement on the 23rd? There's a Panasonic announcement on the 23rd? Nobody tells me anything. So that's the answer to that is no. I don't even know what the 23rd is. What's the 23rd? The 23rd is a Sunday, so no, I don't even fly in until Monday morning. So there you go to that. I'm also going to miss the Black Magic press thing on Monday morning, unfortunately, because I'm not there in time. But oh, what are you going to do? Jerry is asking, any thoughts on the Lumix 12 to 35 versus the 12 to 60 in terms of sharpness? I have not done a side-by-side. I have been fully impressed with the 12 to 60. I've been using the 12 to 35 for years, so it is a staple lens. Both are tack sharp. Love them. Zero problems with them as far as sharpness goes. So I can't say one is sharper than the other. That would require some kind of lab side-by-side thing, but both are awesome, and I'll leave it at that. Let's see, anything else? Nothing else going up, so let's see if I can see any poll results yet. Edit card, no, I can't, don't do the edit, let's not do that. How do I see the results of my poll? I don't even know how to do that. Info and settings. I have no idea where to see the results of the poll. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to look at it later. Oh, no, here it is. Okay, here we go, poll results. Wow, one of you have voted. It's 100% yes, but only one of you have voted. Come on. There's 56 of you watching live. Come on, people. Hit that little vote thing. I want to see what your response would be. Maybe more people have, and it just takes time for it to add up in here. All right. Martin's telling Ryan, don't forget to switch the adverts back on. That's awesome. And let's see here. John's saying the Hero XLR1 was 200 pounds, effective price, as a part of a bundle. Oh, that's cool. You guys get better bundles out there. We don't really do the bundles here. I don't know why. Sheila's saying you don't see the vote thing. Can't see the poll pop up. Well, somebody found it. So click. Ryan, are you seeing it? If you click on the little eye, if you move the mouse over the video, a little eye will pop up. So not an I, but the letter I. Click on that, and you should see the poll right there. Oh, you can see the results right there live, too. Neat. Ryan, are you seeing it? The poll is in the top right. Yeah, there you go. Top right. That is the right. Yes, that is. Yes. Anyway. Brent saying the biggest difference in those two lenses are constant aperture on the 12 to 35. Yeah, of course, it's aperture difference. The question was about sharpness, but yes, obviously there is a significant difference, right? The 12 to 35 is a constant f2.8. The 12 to 60 is a variable 12 to 2.8 to f4, but you have the longer reach, slower aperture. Depends what you need. Weight-wise, they're virtually identical. Remember, the 12 to 60 is ever so slightly heavier, but very, very marginally. It is quite a bit bigger. Quite a bit. It's bigger. So that's to consider as well. But anyway, no pop-up appeared on the desktop version. It's not a, you just move your mouse over it. Move your mouse. Oh, for a poll, you need to refresh a page, Verdinard is saying. Okay, refresh your page. I'll be quiet for a moment. Okay, hopefully you've refreshed by now and it has come up. Excellent. Refresh worked. Okay, good. All right, so now people will be able to vote on that. And of course, if you're not watching this live, then that's already happened. All right, I've rambled on enough already. Thanks, guys, for tuning in as always. I hope this was interesting and fun. And if you're going to do this, let me know. Or let me know what differences you do. That's always fun to hear. You can put that in the comments of this show once the show is no longer live, and you can actually add comments to it. Let me know what you think. If you're adding this little vloggy thing, if you've got some other suggestions, I do think the GH5 is the G7 is a great option for that because of its lightweightness, microphone input, and let's face it too, if you stop for a restroom break and someone breaks into your car and steals this, it's going to be a lot more palatable than losing a GH5 that would be hanging from the windshield mount to your car. But try not to get it stolen, because that would be sad. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it here. Thanks a bunch for tuning in. See you tomorrow morning, and yeah, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.